Hello everybody, welcome back to Blues Focus TV for yet another full-time match reaction video. I don't quite have the smile on my face I did midweek after our win against Millwall, a 1-0 loss to Blackpool today. Such a flat game of football. Honestly, if you had to sit through that 90 minutes, I am very, very sorry because it was genuinely painful. Obviously, Blackpool are second bottom of the Championship and are still there despite their good victory today. But just a really, really poor game of football. Very few chances for us, very few chances to them. I mean, Blackpool do look like they're a side struggling to stay in this division. They hardly strung 4 or 5 passes together throughout the entirety of the game. They looked very, very poor. One of the worst sides I've seen down St Andrews this season, to be quite honest. And that's not being disrespectful towards them. They just did look like a poor outfit. In terms of ourselves, though, we genuinely didn't look too much better. We were struggling to pass the ball today. We were struggling to create opportunities for ourselves. We just looked like a different Blues compared to what we saw midweek against Millwall. And it's a real shame, to be honest, because obviously we're safe now. You know, results don't matter as much as they once did, but we still want to end the season on good terms and pick up a few decent results. Prior to today, I would have wanted 6 to 9 points for our remaining 3 games, which was obviously Blackpool today, Coventry away next weekend, and to Sheffield United at home on the Monday. But now I'll be happy with 4 to 6 points from our last 2 games, but today was just disastrous, to be honest. We hardly had any opportunities. Long had one in the first half, which I'll go on to in a minute, and we had a good opportunity to score through 3 different players in the second half in about the space of 5 seconds. But other than that, just a really poor game. John Eustace stood up for a bit of a different side today. Joe Bellingham got his 3rd start of the season, and Joe was the one shining light I thought today. Thought he had a very good game, as he did against Millwall midweek. Other than that, everyone was just pretty poor. Kevin Long was at fault for the goal, sadly. He has been fantastic lately. I think he's significantly improved from when he first came in at the start of the season, but he was heavily to blame for the goal today. And outside of that, just not much to report on in terms of opportunities, chances created. Jordan James did start today as well, so it's nice to see him in the team today. But other than that, it was just a really poor performance, and there's not too many players I can pick out on and say, yes, you played well today, other than probably Job. In terms of first half opportunities, we had a good chance to score from a corner, ball whipped in, Kevin Long at the back post. In his defence, the ball did come at him very, very quickly. I'm sure he didn't even realise it. And he was very open, good chance to score, but just over the bar. And as I said, it came at him so quickly, not a lot he could do about it. In terms of second half opportunities, there's one main opportunity to talk about. Obviously, it was a span of about 4 shots on target in 5 seconds. Hannibal cutting on his right foot. Good save by the keeper. Dukey followed up, another good save. Came to Chong at the back post, who cutting on his left foot. Again, saved by the keeper. And then Hannibal with the 4th rebound, blocked off the line. How we didn't score that opportunity is mind-blowing. We had 4 shots on target, all 4 of which were blocked or saved or cleared off the line, whatever. So how we didn't score there was really disappointing. And as I mentioned, Blackpool got their goal through a Kevin Long mistake. Jordan James to Kevin Long. Kevin Long looked to go back to Etheridge, and sadly Etheridge just couldn't get there in time. It was a really slow pass, really weak pass, really poor pass, and Blackpool were just able to pounce on it. So I did touch on Neil Etheridge in the last video, but again, I thought there's not a lot he could have done about the goal today. And in terms of outside of the goal, I think he did everything he had to pretty well. I mentioned it in the last video, but I think most times when Neil Etheridge has come in this season, or pretty much every time he's come in this season, he's done a sterling job. And I think outside the goal, which he couldn't do a lot about, he did everything he needed to today. Thought defensively, our 2 fullbacks in Trusty and Colin didn't do too much wrong. Obviously, Trusty doesn't get as high up the pitch as maybe we'd like, but he is an out-and-out defensive player, so that's not necessarily expected. That's the only detriment, I'd say, to having both Colin and Trusty as wing-backs, is they're not the most attacking. But there you go. That's just the way we're playing at the moment, and it's fine because we do have 2 wide men today, obviously both in Hannibal and Chong. In terms of the 2 centre-halves, I thought Roberts had a good game. A bit frustrating at the end because with about 10 seconds on the clock, he was taking ages for a throw-in, and I'm not quite sure why, but there you go. But he did have a good game. And in terms of Kevin Long, outside the error, he did all right. He nearly replicated his error about 15 minutes later, actually, but thankfully he didn't quite. But I thought outside the error, he had a decent game as well. In terms of our 2 midfielders in Jordan James and Bielik, it was nice to see Jordan James finally get some deserved game time because he's been sitting on the bench and he deserves it. He had a fantastic season last year and he deserves a bit more opportunity in this Blues side, so it's nice to see him start today. Bielik did his usual job in terms of the front 3, as I mentioned, Hannibal, Chong and Job. Thought Job was our standout player today. Thought he did brilliantly, as he did midweek against Millwall. And Djukovic obviously getting his usual starting appearance, and he did okay today. We had Troy Deeney come on the pitch, who looked a bit sluggish, but that's to be expected as he has been injured. So, as I mentioned, 2 games left of the season, Coventry and Sheffield United. Hopefully, we can pick up 4 to 6 points from those. As we know, we are safe. To be fair, Blackpool's victory today does make it a bit more exciting at the bottom of the table. Blackpool won and Wigan won. Times are looking bleak for Reading, but we'll have to see what happens. Final games of the season are always the most exciting, aren't they? And with Blues stress-free, it's nice that we can enjoy the final few games. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Keep running.